Are you able to see my screen? Okay. So here the project I wanted to discuss, like this is the main architecture. Here mainly this is a data migration project. Here the on-prem from the on-prem databases, the data would be moving to cloud. So they are nothing but like they are modernizing their database from the on-prem server. On-prem servers are nothing but like physical servers, we can say. So Microsoft Azure is a cloud type of service. So here, like there would be like more elasticity, you can say. So that is like whatever you wanted, like whatever you are using, you will pay for that only actually. Okay. And also you would be having like security, everything like provided by the cloud itself and all, like modernization in the sense like the fastness and all. So it would be good for that. And also the main thing is like whatever you use, you only pay that, and you can scale easily. Like if you wanted to increase the data in the next week, like you no need to place an order, like on-prem servers and install everything. Like here itself they will directly create systems, like something you wanted they will directly create in the architecture. So it would be easy to scale up the Azure. Here in this project particularly, they were moving the data from the on-prem servers to Azure Data Lake. Here you can say like the team what I worked was like Hadoop data, they were moving to Azure. So in the resume, like Mayur, like whatever I will keep for you the same thing. So there you need to say like when they ask like what is your project. Uh, my project is a data migration project, and here the data is being migrated from on-prem servers to cloud. The team what I was working, like the source is Hadoop Hive. This is Hadoop Hive, and the target is
Mhm.
Azure Data Lake. You need to say, okay, through Azure data
Okay, so
pipelines.
Surya, is
Yes.
it in pharma domain or banking domain?
This is a pharma domain. Like in every domain, there would be
Mhm.
projects, but currently the domain of this project, like whatever I was working, was a pharma domain.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay,
So in the resume also, like whatever I will prepare for you, like I will keep some pharma domain, some pharma company in it. Okay.
okay.
So here, like there would be an ESP scheduler. ESP scheduler is nothing but it triggers the jobs automatically at a preferred time, like whatever you have scheduled. Scheduled in the sense like every week you wanted to transfer the data, or every day you wanted to transfer the data. Like different types of data would be there, right? Some needs to be daily updated, some needs to be weekly updated, some needs to be monthly updated. So the here the job, whatever you are running, or like whatever they are mentioning, the job is nothing but a pipeline here. So once you trigger that, this is the source for you. Once you trigger that, it moves to the target. Target here is Azure Data Lake. So through this pipeline only, the data flows from source to target. Here is Linux VM is nothing but here you are triggering the job with Unix commands. So you are not triggering the job from directly Azure Data Factory. So the pipelines, everything would be built up in Azure Data Factory. You can trigger the job from backend through Unix or also from Azure Data Factory dashboard. But here in this project, like we are triggering through Unix, you need to say. So once you trigger the job, the data flows from source to target. So this is the pipeline they were showing. So this is Azure Data Factory they were showing. So this is like complete Azure data lake architecture. So the data flows and in the Azure data lake it would be stored. And here for this, the Databricks would be connected to the Azure data lake for analyzing the things. For analyzing the things in the sense like you will be writing SQL queries in Databricks for just seeing all the columns, column names and data types and the row count, duplicate, null. So the different validations that would be doing, I already discussed with you. So those all validations we would be doing in Azure Databricks notebook. Okay, here in this architecture, there were outbound email alerts in the sense like whether the data has been successfully loaded or the pipeline failed. So these email alerts the user should be getting. So this is the architecture actually. So here it is in detail explained here actually. So I will just provide a snap of this in the group so you can know like in this architecture what is going on and you can explain easily. So what layer is what? These are the different layers present in this Azure data platform architecture. Okay, any doubts here? Hello.
No, sorry.
Here, which icon is what you would be, they already given here. This icon is Azure Data Lake
No.
Storage. This is Azure Data Factory. And this is Databricks and like whatever the icons they were using in this architecture. But you need to just remember this. No need to like by heart and all. But they will ask like, what is the architecture in your project? So then
So
you need
basically,
to
it is an architectural scenario of how to move the data, right?
how
How
the
to migrate the
how are
data.
the different what are the different layers that would be there, and once you trigger the job, like how the data flows from source to target through different layers. But if you
Okay.
see like direct plane architecture, what you would have like source, staging, and target. Like everybody would say that. When you
Mm-hmm.
say these, like these are the layers present in my project, and the data flows through all these layers before moving into target. If you use the words like ingest landing zone layer, wrangle zone layer, curated zone layer, uh, staging layer, consumption layer. If you use these terminology, like that, what they would know is like, yeah, okay, this guy has like practically worked on some project, so he has practical exposure. Like by using the terminologies of this, you would easily know actually like the
Mm-hmm.
the interviewer would usually know that you have worked practically and you has like practical exposure to ETL testing projects. Like even though if you have come from a different domain, if you use this terminology, like they will judge you. That's why they ask
Okay.
like this is a common question. 90% they will ask like, what is the architecture in your project? So here in this project, this is architecture. After that, like the workflow I was explaining. Like once I explain the workflow, I will show you like the data factory and the Databricks also, like how you will use that for for analyzing the things. Okay. Here in this project, like every 45, this is a agile scrum project. You need to say agile scrum methodology. You already discussed like what is agile and what is scrum. I think like you know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Agile is a methodology and Scrum is a
Yes, yes, the
you.
scrum is a process. Like generally, like
Yeah.
most of the 90% of the software projects, they will use this agile scrum methodology only.
Hmm.
Process is agile process they will use, and the work wise they will use like the scrum process.
Hmm.
Okay. And here in this project, like whatever we are keeping, like every 45 days, a release would be there in your project. You need to say. So, and 2 weeks a sprint. So there would be three sprints in a release. Okay.
Yeah.
And every week you get a drop of tables from the developers. Okay. They do the development in the developer environment, and the testing whatever we do is it is in UAT environment. Okay. And the environments also I have discussed, I remembered, like there would be this question also you would get, like what are the different environments present like in your project, like what and generally the common environment that is present in the project are developer environment, and some in projects are like sandbox environment. It would be there just to just play accordingly, like nothing would be impacted in production actually, like, just to do something your work and test it like the developers. So that is like sandbox environment, but here in this project that was not there. Directly the developer environment, next the QA environment or the UAT environment, and the next is like pre-prod environment. Like before production there would be in some projects like pre-production environment would be there, and the next is like production environment, like that is like go live and direct release or go live or like production, like everything the terminology is the same. Okay. So once the developer develops his table, he pushes into the UAT environment. So from here, from source to target, like they will ask, are there any transformations in your project? You need to say like how the data between source and target. Here in this project, it was a direct mapping. Direct mapping, if it is there, there would be no, what do you say? No transformations. So if here A is there in this column, in target also A only needs to be printed. And here for one column, for some of the columns, there was an encryption. The encryption might be numeric or alphabetic. So so there would be change in the columns, and you need to check like if AB was there in the source, there would be an encryption framework, like how it would get changed. You can connect to some network and see, like if AB was there, when it is encrypted, how it would appear. It is appearing as CB or ZA. Like already there would be server. You would just feed the server. My source name is AB in the target. How it should get printed. So it would give some name. That name you would compare in the target. So then in that way, like you will match the encrypted columns, like complete encrypted columns you won't match. You will take some sample data, some 5 or 10 records, and you will match. So the table is being correctly encrypted for that column. Apart from that, it's like a direct mapping, right? So you will just see like all the data between the source and target are matching by taking some sample data, and also you will be doing minus minus queries. Okay. In that way you will check it.
By minus query, we can check the count validation, right?
No, by minus query
Data,
you would be checking the data validation.
data
So
validation. And
yeah,
what
when
about
you
count?
do the count, it's like direct, right? Select count star from table. If you say in target schema dot target table name, you will just write in Databricks query. You will get the number. In the similar way, You write the query, select count star in the like in the source. Here the source is Hadoop Hive, right? For connecting to the Hadoop, here like you are connecting to the target with Azure Databricks for running the SQL queries. But for see to you also need to see the source, right? Source count. If you wanted to see to this source database, you will connect through DB visualizer, we say, like DB Weaver or DB visualizer. So these are nothing but you could establish a connection to particular database, and you can check it by running the SQL queries. Okay. When you in the DB visualizer, you connect to Hadoop Hive server, and you will just write there this SQL query for the particular table, whatever you wanted to check. There you, if you get like 120 is the row count. In the target also in Databricks, you run the SQL query, and there also you need to get the 120 count. So the count is matching. Then it's fine. Okay, the table is passed. Not the table is passed. That test case is passed. Okay. In the minus query, you are just checking the data. Okay, a minus b and b minus a. We need to do both things, because like when you do a minus b, whatever the data mismatch records are there, only it would print from table A. Even though there are some records mismatch from table B, it won't print. So that's why we are doing b minus a also. Like, so when you do both the things, you need to get like uh, no results, like query return no results, you should get as the output. If there are some record, then there was some mismatch, and then you need to raise a bug, obviously, for that. So this is how it works. Okay.
Okay.
And every week a release would be there. Sorry, every 45 days a release would be there, right? So every week you will get a drop of tables. So for each table you would be doing like complete end-to-end validations, in the sense like first you will check the column names are matching between the source and target, and the data type is matching between the source and target, and the data length for data types, for you will give some length for some of the objects. So you will be checking the length of the objects, length of the data between the length of the data type between the source and target, because like if the length of the data type is also changed, then also it would get affected your data. So it means like your data would get truncated in the target, so that shouldn't that is not accepted. So that's why you check that as well. Like once that is done, you will move on to row count, whether between the source and target it was matching, and the duplicate check, you will see in the target, like when whether any duplicates are populating or not. And then you will move on to null check in the sense like you will see the constraints in the source table, or in the mapping document you can see for a particular columns, like wherever the not null constraint was assigned, or for the primary key constraint was assigned, there shouldn't be a null values. So for those columns, you will write a, null check query, and you will do a nullability check for that. And after that, you will do minus query operations you will be doing, a minus b and b minus a. So once that is also passed, then you would be taking some sample data and checking. And also once what do you say, once like there is Hmm. this encryption check I said, right? So that also you will do. So these are all history validations. Once all history validations are done, you will be doing an incremental validations. Okay. But first you see like these are the history validations. So the project like whatever I will be discussing like today and tomorrow, you need to keep in mind this will be the latest project I will be keeping in your resume. When they were asking, you need to explain like whatever now I was explaining, you need to explain that in like 5 minutes, 5, 5, 6, 7 minutes, you need to explain this. So this is like now I have now I have covered till history validation from the architecture. If you have any doubts, ask now only. So tomorrow I will be covering the incremental validations and Databricks and data factory interface dashboards.
So as you said, we have a 2 week of sprint. So is it for working days or including Saturday, Sunday?
You will be considering only working days, weekdays in the sense, 2 weeks in the sense like only like 10 days you will get
10
in the
days.
sprint. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so for 3 sprint, we have only 30 days. And
No, 3 sprints you will be having 45 days. That's why like every 45 days a release, and in your release there would be 3 sprints.
but according to this sprint, like we have 3 sprint of 30 days, right? Right?
You will be counting like with a week only. Like you would include Saturday, Sunday in it. You won't remove it. But
Hmm.
I was telling like just working days. But when you are counting sprints, you will count as a sprint as 1 week. 1 week as 7 days only, not 5 days.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's what you will include. But you will get, I was telling like working days, you will get only 10
Hmm. Okay.
other things. Like I will just share this snap. I will
Hmm.
just go through the layers, what are the different layers, and just read the things. Just now I will post.
Okay.
Yeah, I just posted in the group.
Yes.
Just have an idea of the architecture mainly. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
Sampath, are you having any doubts?
No, Surya.
Okay. Till just go through the recording and just prepare yourself. Like at least for the history testing. Like once tomorrow is completed, incremental would be done. So you just mix both of that, and just prepare in your mind like some 6 to 7 minutes, like whatever you wanted to tell regarding your project when they ask. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I will upload this recording in the drive.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So
Okay.
your phone number is did you change or
No, that's the
this is
same.
only
707013473280.
okay, no problem.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, like in the middle, like my health got seriously affected. Like normally, normal fever has come initially, like first 10 to 15 days I have taken medication, but still it was not reducing. Later on, it was confirmed as dengue, and like my body became like very weak, and like almost the office also I kept like around 3 weeks of holiday leave.
Hmm.
That's okay.
Okay.
No, Mayur, you just send your resume. You just ping me your resume. So I will just prepare accordingly and I will send you. So you just create your profile. So I will see your profile and modify like what are the things that we need to add as well. Like once you create it.
Oh,
Okay. But today you send me your resume.
yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.